Yeah, weird intermission before the video starts. I realized that I might actually be high on Twilight, as you realize throughout the movie. I call the main character Jessica when her name is actually Bella. And yes, my camera also dies halfway through the video. You're just gonna have to put up with it. And also at the end I said Game of Thrones new season when the new season came out in 2019, so I think I might actually be high. Don't mind me. My camera died again. You're just gonna have to look at this photo of me. But yeah, my bad. The main character's name is Bella, and it's Bella and Edward who have the sexual tensions, not Jessica. Jessica's another character I mistook for the main character. So yes, my bad. I had a random sound effect to show that it would transitioning because it's gonna be a bit hard to tell, so yeah, bye.
Ho ho ho. Green Giant.
Hello guys. It is a very merry time of October. Yippee! October. Probably this is gonna be the only video of October. Because work will pick up from here. But I said, hey, maybe since it is spring, a new video. Well, September was spring, but you know, we don't go into the clarifications when Christmas is 2 months away. Yay, Christmas. Yes, videos will pick up in November all the way up until Christmas, and I'm looking forward to Christmas. Anyways, today I wanted to talk about a series that well, no, more specifically a movie that I watched recently called Twilight. Now, I'm sure most of us know what Twilight is. Like, even if you haven't watched it, I'm pretty sure you've heard the name Twilight before. Twilight is basically a movie about well, from the movie that I watched, it was monsters that go to school and have very weird tendencies. Alright, I'll expand now. So, the reason I'm talking about Twilight today is because of a certain experience that I had last night when I was over at a friend's place. Now, me and two other friends had dinner. Well, I had dinner at their place, and as we were talking, one of my friends said, hey, wouldn't it be fun if we watched The Witcher, not The Witcher, Twilight. Yeah, I don't know why I keep saying The Witcher, like, I have not watched The Witcher in a very long time, but also the microphone's kind of cutting into my camera. I don't really remember how I formatted my camera, but yeah. Anyways, one of my friends said, hey, let's watch Twilight. Now, me being the young person that I am, yes, I'm very young, if you couldn't tell, and my camera wants to cut out for some reason. Okay. Now, me being the young person that I am, I have never once been intrigued by this show called Twilight, because of the certain things that have been associated with the show over, I don't know, the past. How many years has the movie been out? Since 2011? Anyways, as I sat down and started watching this movie, I have a couple quality opinions about this movie. Now, the first one is the acting within these movies. I don't know if they purposely went for the whole since they're teenagers, they don't know how to express their feelings properly type of act. But what I realized when I was watching this movie was the main character, main characters, Rachel and Edward, have some very questionable actions throughout the movie, which kind of make you raise an eyebrow. For example, Rachel keeps licking her lips or biting her lip, and then she keeps exhaling really loudly sometimes. I don't know if that's intentional. And another thing is, Edward always has a blank face, no matter what the situation is. Like, his facial expression will almost never veer from his "I'm the Sigma King" face. Like, you'll find out later on that he's a certain thing, which leads to a very questionable scene. But yeah, just one thing is the acting. Like, I don't really know if it's meant to be this way. Maybe not. Maybe it is. Another thing is the sexual tension between the two characters throughout the whole movie. All right, and the long stares that they have together. These two characters, Rachel and Edward. Rachel's meant to be a normal girl, and I think Edward's like 100-something years old, which they talk about later in the movie. But at the start, Rachel and Edward keep staring at each other like they're within a museum. Like, I'm not joking you. The amount of times that Rachel is just point blank staring into his eyes or staring in his general vicinity for days at a time. Like, I don't know what is so interesting about, the whole well, I don't know what's interesting about him at all, because he looks like he has what is that virus called? I don't know, but he looks like he's dying from scurvy or something, because his face is pale as a sheet of paper. Alright, but she keeps staring at him like he's some next man from Mars or something, which I guess he might be because he's a vampire. That leads on to these times of sexual tension lead into a very very confusing events. For example, a car nearly hits her and he's like, "My lady, I stopped this car for you." And then he looks at her like she's just killed his family or something. He's like, and he just walks away after he saves her from being hit by a car, and seemingly no one noticed that it was him that stopped the car from hitting her. And it's just like, what? And then another scene is like when they were in the garden and he's like, "What are you going to Hertfordshire for? What is there to do at Hertfordshire?" And she's like, "Well, you never answer my bloody questions, do ya?" Well, they don't talk like that, but that's my impression of them. And she's like, "You never answer my bloody questions, and you don't even say hello." And then he's like, "Well, hello there." And then he starts interrogating her again, which, you would think for a man that's over 100 years old that he would have a better way of conveying his feelings to a lady, but obviously not, because he seems to have a very limited sense of communication with people throughout the movie. I don't know. And another thing that I picked up was the amount of questionable events that happened within the story. For example, we get to a part where he's pursuing her, I assume, and she's trying to uncover maybe the secrets behind, you know, what he could be. And she realizes, shit, this guy might be a vampire. Alright, because she searched it up online and it came up with a source of, hey guys, if you look out for a vampire, they're cold-blooded, or their skin is cold to the touch, and I don't remember what the other things were, to be honest. And then he leads her into a forest. Oh shit, my cable cut out. He leads her into a forest, and within that forest a certain scene occurs where he is standing behind her and she's like, I know what you are. And he's like, what am I? And she's like, you're a vampire. Well, I didn't quite go into the detail there, but there was this whole lead up to the event where he was like, say it, what am I? Say it. And she's like, you're a vampire. And then he leads her into a plain, and she, not like a field of grass or something, and they lay there. Some of the most uncomfortable positions I've seen in the world. Like she's got her body twisted like 45 degrees one way and then 45 degrees another way, and then he's like laying on the ground like he's trying to run away from something. I don't know what he's trying to run away from, but holy yeah. And then another scene that confused me quite a bit was the scenes that came after, because he like walks into the sunlight, right? And then he starts like shining a weird color, and then she's like, holy shit, he's hot. And then he's like, this is why I'm a vampire. I'm glowing in the sun, which shows that I can't tolerate the sun. And all she's thinking at that time is, holy shit, he's such a hottie. Oh my goodness. And a main part of this movie is this guy, or vampire I should say, the reason why he's in love with her is because he can't read her mind, and he thinks that she doesn't think that he's hot. Thing is, right, she's literally simping over him the whole movie. She's like, oh my goodness, oh my goodness, I gotta get that D. Like, she literally sees him in her room and he's like staring at her. I don't know where that occurred, but he was like watching her while she slept, and then she had a bunch of wet dreams about him. I'm just like, what is this movie meant to be about, right? And then at one point they presumably start dating, I think. I don't really know what happened around then, but he brings her to his house, and then he jumps out of a window, and then he starts climbing trees like he's a bloody monkey. Excuse me? I thought you were meant to be a vampire, not a monkey. And he starts climbing a tree, and then he calls the girl his spider monkey. And I'm just like, what? Spider monkey? Where did that come from? Like, it's the most questionable lead up of events, and he's just like, oh yes, you are my spider monkey, and he starts climbing a tree like he's a monkey. And I'm just, what has happened up to this point? Like, they started dating, he jumps out of his house, and he starts climbing a tree, and he calls her a monkey. Is that how teenagers flirted back in the 2011s? Who knows? A lot of questionable things happened after that. But I do have a confession to make. I didn't watch the whole movie. The reason being is because I fell asleep halfway through. I know, for such a riveting movie, you may be asking, why are you falling asleep halfway through a movie this entertaining? You may ask. And to that I say, it was daylight savings for some reason, and halfway through our session of watching Twilight, the time shifted forward an hour, and I didn't realize, and I was like, hey, it's still so early, like maybe we could stay up to watch a movie, right? And then I realized, oh where's the time gone? And then I fell asleep halfway through. I think I fell asleep around the time, yeah, like they were sitting down in a questionable place, and then he's like, say my name. What's my name? And she's like, Edward Bomberclot. I don't remember his full name. To be honest, I find it hard to remember half of their names. But another questionable thing was, the couples in this movie seem to be inseparable by some questionable things. Like, I get it, they're teenagers, right? Their hormones are running wild, and they're werewolves and vampires who like sucking blood or something. But these vampires aren't anything like what you expect a vampire to be. Like, I'm sure everybody knows Dracula from Hotel Transylvania, right? He can turn into a bat. He can, suck blood and give off bloodlust or something like that. I did not see any of those qualities within Edward. Instead, what I saw from Edward was, he is a guy that starts sparkling in the sun. Apparently he's a handsome guy, right? There's nothing wrong with being a handsome vampire. I'm pretty sure Dracula's canonically handsome as well. But then the things that threw me off were his mind reading abilities and his tree climbing abilities, and he can run around at supersonic speed. Unless I missed a part of the movie where it started explaining their abilities. I don't think they ever really did explain it in the start when they were showcasing what they could do. Like, it was just like, oh yeah, the girl finds out he's a vampire and she's just like, you're a vampire, aren't you? And then he's like, yes, baby girl, now let's start dating, and then let's start climbing trees so I can call you a monkey. Like, to be honest, the movie's entertaining, to say the least. But would I watch any of the sequel movies? Probably not, unless I was, being dragged around again and forced to watch the other sequels. But yeah, to be honest, that's all I really got to say about the movie. I fell asleep halfway through, so I don't really know what happened for the rest of the movie, so I might be missing a lot of context right now, and a lot of... I didn't even see the villain of the story. Like, who is the villain meant to be? Is this just a story about hormonal teenagers? Like, if anyone knows, please tell me, because I'm very confused about this whole story. I didn't mean to place that Hunter there, but if anyone can explain to me, or maybe I'll ask my friends next time about the story, because they've watched the whole series. Yeah, but my advice to you is, if you're bored and you're looking for a show that's full of horny teenagers that thirst of werewolves, vampires. I think that was werewolves. Apparently one of the other guys is a werewolf, and you don't mind the subpar acting from some of the actors. I recommend Twilight, the first movie at least, halfway through, because I fell asleep, so I don't really know what happened. But yeah, it's probably going to be the only video of October. As you realized, I've gotten fat again. Yeah, not much exercise is being done because of my work, but you know, I still have some time to indulge in questionable movie watching sessions like this one. Not like this one, like the one I had last night, but don't worry, I'm not drunk. Actually, if you're old enough, try watching Twilight when you're drunk. Maybe it'll make more sense. I don't condone drinking, but you know, if you can. But if you're a child, I think the movie's fine enough. I didn't see Edward suck anyone's blood or anything, so yeah. But just get prepared for a lot of weird staring, a lot of weird lip biting, and a lot of weird scenes from Edward, because he's just a weird guy who likes doing random stuff. Anyways, I think I've dragged this video on long enough. A 21-minute video is the only video you're gonna get in October, but look forward to November because Christmas is coming. Yay, Christmas. Who knows, maybe I'll watch the rest of the Witcher movie by myself for Christmas or something like that. Maybe, I don't know. It really depends on how I'm feeling. But yeah, that's all I gotta say. It's spring. The next time you'll see me is probably gonna be the end of spring. Yeah. I really forgot how to record these videos because I don't know how to get this mic stand out of my camera. Yeah. Wait, have I been saying The Witcher or Twilight? I don't know. Anyways, I'll see you guys in November. Bye. If I said The Witcher, I meant Twilight. Sorry about that. Yeah. My mind's been wandering weird places. Also, if you watched the new Game of Thrones season, can you tell me if it's good or not? Maybe I'll watch it someday. Alright, bye.